Hi, welcome to Nexus Consultancy. We provide professional and strategic consultation services specializing in ISO management system standards on quality, environmental, food safety, and many other standards as well. At Nexus Consultancy, we combine our analytical thinking, improvement-centric approach, and results-oriented mindset to help businesses to grow through ISO certifications. Consulting is more than just giving advice. To us, consulting is about building the connection with customers, solving their problems, implementing the change, and at last, helping them to grow. Our company's purpose is very simple, which is to empower business and people. We have dedicated 12 years in helping businesses to grow and also achieve operational process improvement through ISO certifications. Having served thousands of companies, Nexus Consultancy has truly built a legacy in helping customers to achieve long-term business growth. We have served companies from GLCs, SMEs to big corporations from a wide range of industries. We work closely with you to create a customized consultation as unique as you are, offering you a truly value-added service which can fulfill your business needs and objectives. We believe in what we do and we would also like to do it for you.
Hi, good day everyone. How is everyone today? Thank you very much for joining us today in our monthly webinar series. I'm Darren here and I would be your speaker for today. And our topic for today would be the 3 simple ways to use SOP to improve your efficiency, your manufacturing efficiency, your operation efficiency. Now, before we start, I would just like to do a quick sound and video check. If you can hear and see me, kindly put 1 in the chat box so that I know that I'm not talking to myself. Now, if you can hear and see me, kindly put 1 in the chat box. Let's do a quick sound and video check. If you can hear and see me, kindly put 1 in the chat box. All right. Okay, thank you very much. For your feedback, and I would encourage everyone to type any question that you may have in the chat box. Okay, we will address the questions at the end of the session. If you have any questions as we progress along, do put it into the chat box and we would answer them at the end of the session. Now, before we go into how we can use SOP to improve efficiency, I'd like to ask you, are all your processes running without drama and driving industry-leading profits? Are all your processes running without drama and driving industry-leading profits? Now, if yes, well done, kudos to you. Now, if no, which of these challenges is relatable or resonate with you? Would it be number 1? There is needless drama in the organization. Drama, what do we mean by drama? Example, you have quality issues, you have late deliveries, or you have a lot of wastages from your production. Or simply, invoice generated was wrong. Well, I'm sure no one would want this kind of drama. Or number 2, workers are now working more hours, spending too much time fixing things that should have been done right the first time. Products produced doesn't meet customer requirements, and now you will need to rectify before it can be delivered to the customers. Or informations are not effectively communicated in the organization. Important information, example, product spec or data is not communicated to the production team. Now, which one of this is relatable to you? Is it 1, or is it 2, or is it 3? Do type your answer in the chat box. Or if you have any other challenges, you can share it with us as well. Is it 1? Do you face the challenges? Does number 1 resonate with you, or number 2 resonate with you, or number 3 resonate more with you? Do put them into the chat box. Or if you have other challenges that you are facing in your organization, do share them with us as well. We can see if the SOPs will be able to address them. I see some response. Number 1, there is needless drama in the organization. In a manufacturing business, no matter the size, there are many moving parts. So whether the manufacturing processes will be efficient or not is often due to whether these countless parts are moving in harmony with each other or not. In order for your manufacturing processes to run like a well-oiled machine and don't always break down, your workers would need to be on the same page at all times. Now, how can your manufacturing business achieve that? This is where the standard operating procedure, or SOP, comes in. Now, to begin, let's have a quick understanding, on SOP. SOP is basically a document that communicates to the workers, in your manufacturing business on how to carry out certain processes. Example, in a production planning process, SOP will describe what to do upon receiving customer order, how to plan materials required, what resources to use, and when to start production in order to manufacture products that will fulfill both customer and the organization requirements. Fulfilling requirements like on-time delivery, minimal defects, and minimal wastages. SOP will ensure that you have a structured processes in place, competent workers, and a motivating company culture. So that's what an SOP is. Now, how can SOPs help make manufacturing more efficient? SOPs can help you with the following advantages. It can bring you consistency. Having SOP in your manufacturing business will help you to be consistent. The main reason of having SOP is to enable consistency in a way a worker carry out the task or activity, no matter who. The task or activity would be carried out consistently. SOP assures accuracy and predictability. A standardized manufacturing process will guarantee the same outcome, ensuring the consistent outputs, consistent quality, consistent quantity, consistent time frame, consistent cost, and energy use. SOP will help to minimize errors. Having SOP in your manufacturing process will help you minimize errors. SOP details a set of instructions on how to carry out a task. As long as each worker performs the task following the SOP, there is a greater chance of minimizing errors. Therefore achieving predictability. Manufacturing targets or goals could be established to measure the output, and any errors will be able to be identified, data collected, analyzed, and improvements carried out. With the ability to minimize errors and achieve goals, workers will be more motivated and more driven to carry out their tasks. SOP is a great communication tool in your manufacturing business. One factor that differentiates between a manufacturer that runs well and one that does not is whether the communication is done effectively. The more effective and the more accurate information is communicated between workers, the less time is wasted and the better the quality would be. Most likely, the higher the profit. Peter Drucker once said, "The most important thing in communication is hearing what isn't said." So Peter Drucker, the American consultant, educator, author, said this: the most important thing in communication is hearing what isn't said. Now, when effective SOP is in place, it will enable manager and supervisor to communicate what needs to be done easily and also to use it in their operations to hear what is not said. A failure to comply with SOP will likely cause a breakdown or deviation from the manufacturing plan. The severity of the deviation will tell the manager or supervisor, without the need of it being said, exactly where the problem is, exactly where he or she needs to begin her root cause analysis and where to begin the improvement. So SOP will be able to communicate this. Well-established communication pass the right information to the right people at the right time. So how can we use SOP, to improve your efficiency? Now, I'd like to start sharing the 3 ways to use SOP to improve your efficiency. These 3 ways, I have actually named them as the 3 E's. The 3 E's. The first E, step number 1, the first E, establish. Establish SOPs for your processes. Establish SOP for your processes. Now, Edward Deming said that if you can't describe what you are doing as a process, then you don't know what you are doing. If you can't describe what you are doing as a process, you don't know what you are doing. There are 2 types of processes, the core and the supporting. The core process and the supporting process. Core process, what is it? Core processes are part of the core business and those that deliver customer value. Example of core processes for a manufacturer would be production process to produce goods, or a delivery process to deliver the goods. Supporting processes are those processes that support the core processes. Example, maintenance process, maintaining the machineries that is being used to produce goods, or maintaining the lorries which is being used to deliver the goods. Other example of supporting process it can be recruitment of workers. Recruitment of workers required to carry out the production. Those are supporting processes. Now, in order for your manufacturing process to be efficient, the organization will have to write in SOPs for these core and supporting processes. So the core and supporting processes, you will need to write them in SOPs. What it does, what the process does, who is responsible for doing it, how to carry out the process, how the success of a process can be determined. In quality management principles, this is the quality management principles of ISO 9001. It says that consistent and predictable results are achieved more effectively and efficiently when activities are understood and managed as interrelated processes that function as a coherent system. They should be understood and managed as interrelated processes that function as a coherent system, as a system to achieve fewer quality defects, quality issues, to achieve lesser late deliveries, to achieve lesser wastages from your production, to achieve lesser mistakes. So they are interrelated processes. You don't just have one process. You have interrelated processes. You have multiple processes. For example, if you receive an order, don't mind my terrible handwriting, but when you receive an order, what would you then do? You will need to do planning, right? A manufacturer will then need to do planning. You have a planning process. Plan what will be the materials required, raw materials. Plan about the production, which machine to use, or what resources to put in, or when to carry it out. Production plan. You would have a planning process, and then you will have a production process. Production process to carry out the production, and after producing the product, then you would have a quality control process, to inspect whether the product that you have produced, do they meet requirements, you have a quality control process. Then you would have a warehouse process. If the products that you have produced are acceptable, they are in good quality, or they are meeting the requirements, then you move the products to the warehouse. Then you have a warehouse management process. So from warehouse, when it is time to deliver it to the customer, then you will have a delivery process. Or deliver the products to customer in order to fulfill customer requirements. Fulfilling customer requirements, achieving customer satisfaction. So in a manufacturing, okay, this is a sample illustration of some processes that you would have in a manufacturing condition, from order to fulfilling customer requirements. So what you need to do would be to establish SOPs, okay, for these processes. Establish SOPs for these processes. So in establishing SOPs, okay, things that you would need to consider. Okay, identify what are your core and supporting processes, and establish the SOPs for them. Upon identifying, okay, core and supporting processes, and when you establish the SOP, define the objectives of the process and steps necessary to achieve them. Let's take, for example, just now we were talking about one of the process. Let's take delivery process, for example. Delivery process. Okay, define the objectives. What would be the objective of a delivery process? What will be the objective of a delivery process? The objective of delivery can be on-time delivery, right? Example, on-time delivery, okay? So we want to achieve on-time delivery. That is the objective, right? And then what are the steps that you need to take in order to achieve them? What will be the steps that you need to take in order to achieve them? So write down the steps. So step 1, step 2, step 3, step 4. Write down the steps, okay, in order to achieve the delivery process, on-time delivery to the customer. Next, you will need to establish authority, responsibility, accountability. The people, okay, authority, who would be authorized to carry out the delivery, who would be responsible to deliver the product, and if we are not on time, who would be accountable. So define this in your SOP. Define the authority, responsibility, accountability in the SOP. And determine the resources. What would you need? What type of resources would you need? What type of resources would you need in your delivery process? Okay, you may need driver. Define it. Driver. What else do you need? You may need lorry. Define it. So define the resources you need in your delivery process, okay, to deliver the finished products. To meet the customer or fulfill the customer requirements. So these are the things that you would need to consider when you establish the SOP. The SOP, inside the SOP, will need to document the objective, okay, the steps, the accountability, responsibility, accountability, and the resources in your SOP. Okay, it will need to have this information. One quick question. After establishing the SOPs, who would be the users of this SOP? Who would be the users of this SOP? It will not be the management, right? It will be the workers. Okay, it will be the workers. Workers will be the one using the SOPs. So therefore, SOPs must be what we call the workers-centric, meaning focusing on workers. Put yourself in the workers' shoes and see what kind of information that they would need in order to complete the task. SOPs must be clearly developed in a way that they leave no room for confusion. Now, here are some tips for in establishing workers-centric SOPs. Number one, write SOPs in understandable language. language that is being used or language which are used by the workers for easy understanding. Don't write SOPs in languages that the workers cannot read or would not understand. Right? Write SOPs in language, okay, used by the workers. Keep SOPs brief. Attach photos where required. Okay, example, how does the end product looks like? Attach a photo to it. Or what would you need to look out for? Okay, during inspections. Okay, if there is a crack, how does the crack looks like? Attach a photo to the SOP. Use flowchart. Try to consider using flowcharts or diagrams, okay, to illustrate the processes, okay, for simplicity. Use flowcharts for this simplicity. Flowchart showing step 1, step 2, step 3, right? Use exact words. Use the exact words which are being used on the manufacturing floor. Example use words which are stated on machines or control panels. If the machine states on, don't put start in your SOP. So you don't put start in your SOP. You follow the machine, you put on, right? So use the words used on the manufacturing floor. Use consistent format among all company documents. Use consistent format so that workers know where to refer information. If they want to know information, okay, which section would it be available in the SOP? So to avoid the confusion. And avoid any unfamiliar language, words or abbreviation. Example, RFI. Okay, RFI. What is RFI? We know it is commonly used to replace the word request for inspection, but do the workers understand it? If you put RFI in your SOP, would the workers understand it? So avoid any unfamiliar language or unfamiliar words or abbreviation when you establish your SOP. All right, so that's step 1. Okay, that's step 1. That's the first E. Establish SOPs for your processes. If you have any question, do feel free to type in the chat box. We'll answer any of your questions at the end of the session today. If you have any question, do feel free to put into the chat box. Now let us move on with the second E. Okay, the second E is engage. Engage workers. Engage workers. Simon Sinek says that when people are financially invested, they want a return. But when people are emotionally invested, they want to contribute. Or when workers feel emotionally invested, feels in control, more works will get done, the results will improve. Quality management principles in ISO 9001. It says that competent, empowered, engaged people at all levels throughout the organization are essential to enhance its capability to create and deliver value. Competent, empowered, and engaged people are at all levels throughout the organization are essential to enhance its capability to create and deliver value. What do you want to achieve here? What would you want to achieve? What you want to achieve would be competent workers. Competent workers to achieve the desired results. You want to enhance involvement of people in improvement activities. You will want to enhance personal development. You will want to enhance initiatives and creativity. You will want to achieve people satisfaction. You will want to achieve trust and collaboration throughout the organization. So to achieve competent, empowered, and engaged workers, things that you may consider. Number 1, seek workers' input. When establishing the SOPs, seek workers' input. Involve your workers in your decision-making process. Seeking workers' input would often lead to better results. Ask your workers how they routinely carry out their tasks or how they carry out their routine tasks. As you listen, you may be surprised to learn that certain tasks may involve more steps or some may involve fewer steps than you had anticipated. This would mean one of these two things, okay? This would mean that the workers have developed a more efficient way to execute the process on their own. That's one. Or two, it could mean that they are missing necessary steps in order to ensure quality control, in order to ensure cost control, or in order to ensure worker safety. Okay, so we need to address those. So seek workers' input. Seeking workers' input also will boost morale. Engaged workers are more likely to be accountable for their tasks and generate better results, to stay longer at the company, and also will experience lesser burnout. So consider to seek workers' input when establishing your SOP. Communicate with workers to promote understanding on the importance of their contribution to the company. Okay, how the things that they do would help the company achieve success. Example, you want them to follow the SOP. By following the SOP, okay, how can they contribute to the company's success? They will be able to help achieve fewer defects. They will be able to help lesser the time required to produce the product. They will be able to help minimize the wastage. They will be able to help customers be more satisfied. They will be able to help company profits increase. Right? So communicate to them how they would help, okay, if they follow the SOP. Facilitate open discussion and sharing of knowledge and experience. Ongoing workers' input can be collected to identify the challenges and opportunities. So have open discussion, have sharing among knowledge and experience of the knowledge and experience. So some of the method of communication that you can consider, some simple methods like notices, posters, posting policies, flowcharts on notice boards, circulation of the SOPs using company intranet or emails, conducting briefings, like toolbox briefings, weekly briefings, or daily huddles or short huddles. Okay. Conducting meetings. It is now very convenient for us to conduct meetings online, or it could be physical. Establish a feedback system so that workers can easily provide feedbacks to you. Or if a worker has got a wonderful, brilliant idea on how to improve, if we don't have a feedback system, they cannot communicate that improvement or that amazing idea to you. Establish coaching or mentoring in order to help the organization to achieve the goals and targets. These are examples of some methods that you can use, but you would need to determine which of this method would be suitable for your organization. Determine which of this method would be suitable for your organization. Who would carry out the communication? Determine that as well. What type of information that you want to communicate? Determine that also. Or communicate to who? When to carry out the communication? Ask yourself those questions. Okay? Who to communicate to? When to carry out the communication? Is it going to be a daily communication? Is it going to be weekly communication, monthly communication, quarterly communication, or annual communication? Communication rhythm should be established so that information moves through the organization accurately and quickly. That's what you want to achieve. Okay? Information moves through quickly and accurately. The next will be to provide training and education. Providing training and education allow workers to expand their knowledge and skills so that they can contribute better to the organization. One of my favorite books, Scaling Up, there is one statement that it says, all growth companies are training companies. All growth companies are training companies. No matter how experienced or specialized your workers may be, or they will need to be trained during the implementation of a new or revised SOPs and be retrained again as the time progresses. Training can sometimes be a sensitive area, especially for senior or long-time workers who are used to doing things using their own methods, okay, using their own ways, using their certain ways, okay. So I'm sure some of us would have experienced that before. Okay, why? Because they may not have seen the benefits of making the necessary improvements of implementing the new or the revised SOPs. Therefore, it is important to communicate why SOPs are introduced, why these SOPs are introduced. Okay, workers need to see the benefits of the SOPs. Okay, to both themselves and to the company. Trainings are also not supposed to be one time. Okay, it is not a one-time process. Training's supposed to be an ongoing process. Okay, this is to strengthen the commitment. Okay, that the new or revised SOPs will be the way right now. Okay, on carrying out the task. From now on, we will carry out the task according to this SOP. So reiterate that. Provide continuous training so that workers will get familiar with the SOPs and also will be able to address any weaknesses or any challenges that may be encountered during the implementation stage. Okay. So that would be the step 2 or the second E. Engage. First establish, then engage the workers. So if you have any question, do feel free to type in the chat box. I'll answer them at the end of the session later. Okay, if you have any question, do feel free to put them into the chat box. Now let us move on to the third E. Okay, the step 3, the third E. Evaluate the performance. Okay, performance of what? Performance of your processes. Review and refine your processes. Review and refine your SOPs. Peter Drucker said that what's measured improves. What's measured improves. Okay, if we do not measure, we would not know where to begin with our improvement. Just like if we want to lose weight, or in my case, if I want to add weight, okay, we begin by measuring our current weight. If we do not know what is our current weight, we would not know how much to increase or how much to reduce. Okay, if we do not know our current weight, okay, so we will not know how much to reduce or increase. Another quality management principles in the ISO 9001, it says that successful organizations have an ongoing focus on improvement. Successful organizations have an ongoing focus on improvement. What do you want to achieve when you evaluate your performance? What do you want to achieve? You will want to achieve improvement in the process performance, right? You will want to achieve improved process performance. You will want to achieve improved organizational capabilities. You will want to achieve improved customer satisfaction. You will also want to enhance your focus on root cause and investigation, on determination, okay, why we did not achieve our intended result, followed by the prevention and corrective action, so that the weakness would not occur again in future. So we will want to identify the root cause, we will want to determine the action plan, we will want to carry out the action plan so that the weaknesses or the challenges would not recur again in future, or even better, we prevent it from happening again or happening at all in future. So that's what you want to achieve by evaluating your performance. So things to consider, okay? When you evaluate performance, things to consider. Measure the achievement of the processes. Track, review, and audit the achievement of the processes. Even if you have set up a good process with an excellent SOP, okay, what works best today may no longer be the case in a year's time or in a few months' time. Especially now, with all the with the many challenges that we face right now as we recover from this pandemic, this COVID pandemic, what are we facing right now? We are facing global supply shortages, we are facing manpower shortages, we are facing rising costs, we are facing new regulations and many more. Okay, so what works best previously may not be the case, okay, right now, or what works best now may not be the case 1 year later or a few months later. So therefore, you should continuously measure and track your achievement of these processes. Okay, continuously measure and track the achievement of these processes. So what is it that we really want to measure? How do we measure the process? Okay, in order to measure, then only we can improve. But how do we measure the process? I would like to introduce to you the KRA and the KPI. I believe some would have heard of the KRA, the key results area, and KPI, the key performance indicator. Key results area, okay, what is key result area? Okay, it is a set of goals or objectives that need to be accomplished for a process. And then what would be KPI? KPI is how the accomplishment of this KRA would be measured, meaning how do we measure this KRA? Let's take a look back at our production process. So how do we measure the production process? What do the production process need to achieve? What do a production process need to achieve? What kind of KRA, what kind of goals or objective can we set for a production process? Example would be quality. Okay, production needs to produce quality product. Production needs to produce quality product. So that can be the key result area. And how do we measure quality? What kind of KPI can we set? We can measure the percentage of defects. Example of KPI, okay, less than 2% defects of the products produced. So that can be an example of the KPI. Another objective, okay, which the production process may need to achieve would be timely completion rate. So another KRA would be an example, timely completion of the production. So how can we measure timely completion of the production? Or we can set KPI, for example, 100% on time completion in accordance to the production plan. 100% on time completion in accordance to production plan. So that can be a KPI that we can set. So KRA and KPI. Well, you can consider setting KRA and KPI for your production process or all the other processes that you would be establishing. So measure the achievement, and if you do not achieve the KPI, develop and deploy improvement actions so that you can achieve the desired performance. Okay, like for example, just now we set 100% on time completion in accordance to production plan, on time completion or on time production in accordance to plan. So if we do not achieve, then we have to come up with improvement actions in order to move or to bring the current performance to the desired performance. So we want to bring the current performance to the desired performance. So how can we move from the current performance to the desired performance? First of all, find out why. Okay, why the desired performance was not achieved, meaning investigate the root cause. Okay, why was the desired performance not achieved? Investigate the root cause. 100% on time completion of the production. Okay, why was it not achieved? Maybe after identifying, you find out that, because the machine always breaks down. The machine breaks down, so we wasted time there to repair the machine. So therefore, we cannot complete on time completion of the production. So then the next one will be, what do you need to do now? What do you need to do now? Okay, to address, you know that the machine will break down, or the machine may break down and affect your performance. So what do you need to do now? Okay, an example would be maintenance. Now you may need to do maintenance. Next step, how to do it. You say now you need to do maintenance. How to do it? How to do it? After discussion, maybe you find that the most suitable way would be let's ask our supplier to come and maintain every 2 months. How to do it? Let's ask our supplier to come and maintain every 2 months. So who will be responsible to do it? Who will be responsible? So we have to define who will be responsible to do it. Who will be tracking? Okay, that you need to call the supplier to come and maintain every 2 months. Who will be tracking it? Who will be calling the supplier? Who? And if machines still break down and affects your on-time completion of the production or manufacturing, who will be accountable? Who? So you have to define that. And then when are we going to achieve our desired performance? When are we going to achieve our desired performance? When do we plan to achieve our desired performance? Put a time frame there. Put a time frame. 6 months. Okay, we do maintenance every 2 months, 2 months, 2 months. Okay, then at the 6 months, then we measure again. Okay, whether we have achieved our desired performance or not. So this is how we achieve desired performance. This is how we move from current performance to the desired performance. Okay. Now, based on this improvement plan, SOPs may need to be updated to reflect the process. Right? Your previous SOP may not have maintenance every 2 months, but now because you have come up with an action plan to do maintenance every 2 months, your SOP would need to be updated. So once you have come up with the improvement plan, update your SOP. So you need to track, review, and audit the planning, implementation, completion, and the results of these improvement plans or of these improvement projects. So that's how you improve. And another thing to consider would be to recognize and acknowledge the achievement and improvements. Okay, recognize and acknowledge achievement and improvement. William James, the father of American psychology, he wrote that the deepest principle of human nature is the craving to be appreciated. The deepest principle of human nature is the craving to be appreciated. It is impossible to be motivated and do great work if you don't feel that somebody cares or appreciates what you do. People would be more happy, more willing, more productive at work if they experience positive interactions. Example, being praised at work. A simple good job. Thank you very much for the amazing work done. A simple praise like that, people will feel more happy, more productive. The way people wish to be recognized or how the recognition can take place, it will varies. Okay, how people wish to be recognized, it will varies. Okay, for example, some may want to be recognized publicly. Some may want to be recognized privately. Some may want to be recognized with material. Some may want to be recognized with immaterial. Immaterial example, a certificate of recognition. Some would want to be recognized by peers, or some would want to be recognized by superiors. So it varies. Test out the different approaches. And see what would work best for your organization or your place of work. So consider giving rewards and recognition to your people, to your team members. So there you have it, okay? The 3 simple ways to use SOP to improve your efficiency. 3 simple ways to use SOP to improve your efficiency, which I call it the 3 E's. Establish, engage, evaluate. Establish, engage, evaluate. Okay, so if you have any question, do feel free to type into the chat box. I'll answer them in the Q&A session later. So feel free to type your question if you have any into the chat box. Now, moving on, okay, I like to introduce to you another one more E, okay, which you may consider, which is evolve. Okay, evolve. Moving forward, you may also want to look into the fourth E, okay, evolve to digital. Evolve to digital. Now, in recent years, okay, many manufacturers have begun digitizing their SOPs and processes. Digitizing their SOPs and processes. Why? Because it increases efficiency further. It saves time and it ensures compliance. Evidence suggested that manufacturers need to digitalize for their need to digitalize their processes in order for them to stay competitive. According to a survey done by Gartner, okay, 91% of businesses are engaged in some form of digital initiative, and 87% of senior business leaders say that digitalization is a priority. Looking at the trend of today, okay, it is safe to say that digitalization would become our daily life in future. So furthermore, okay, the process of establishing SOPs to improve efficiencies becomes more difficult as your business grow, okay, as your manufacturing business grow. And if our records, the records that we have are in hard copies, okay, it will make it even more difficult. Hard copies are not convenient. Data are not readily available. It is not economical, not environmental friendly. Okay, workers may have difficulty getting clarity on tasks, are not able to be productive, tend to delay or miss updating records. So hard copies may become massive, and if it's massive, it will not be easy to be traceable. So evolving your manufacturing SOPs to digital, okay, can address those problems that I just mentioned. Okay, it can help to improve traceability. One of the most significant advantage on digitalizing your SOPs is traceability. Supervisors can quickly retrieve information whether a task has been carried out and its results. Such data would be helpful in quickly evaluating manufacturing issues and identifying corrective actions to prevent wastages and delay. Digitalizing your SOP would improve productivity. Departments with interconnected processes can now synchronize work to achieve faster and better outcomes. Information like raw materials availability, stocks availability, delivery deadline, all this information can be easily available. Tasks can be verified, non-compliance can be identified and resolved. Digitalizing your SOPs can improve workers' accessibility, especially using a cloud-based system. It will enable workers to access processes and checklists quickly. Supervisors can carry out reviews and approvals quickly, and and even in remote locations, or if you are using a cloud-based system. And digitalizing your SOPs will improve accuracy of information. Information being key in, okay, example, stock record, how much stocks do we have, will be transferred throughout the relevant processes and functions, okay. This would then eliminate the mistakes or error of having different information at one department and another set of different information in another department. So it will eliminate the mistakes of error of having different information or different data between departments or between different functions. Evolving manufacturing SOPs to digital may seem ideal, okay, but then comes the question, where do we start? Where do we start? Well, manufacturers often wonder, okay, where to begin the journey of digitalization. Well, here are some points to help in your consideration. Consider these points. Digitalize or automate repetitive tasks first. If you were to choose to digitalize repetitive tasks first. Routine manual tasks provide easy opportunity for digitalization to free up time, to free up resources. Uh, uh, what are these tasks? These tasks, for example, can be daily production planning, materials planning, ordering of raw materials, quality control, for example. Okay, these are example of repetitive tasks that you may choose to digitalize first. Or you can choose to digitalize those that involves moving of information. Moving of information. Digitalize processes that involve moving of information from one department to another department. Okay, or from one function to another function. Example, purchase requisition, production. Okay, when they receive an order, they want to purchase raw material, they request information or they request to purchase to the procurement department. So it involves the moving of information from production department to the purchasing or procurement department. Or quality inspection after the production completed the manufacturing, okay, then they want to inspect, okay, they will then ask or request the quality controller to come and inspect. So it involves moving of information. Or delivery, okay, when the warehouse is ready to deliver, then they may request, okay, the logistic or the delivery department, okay, to arrange for delivery. So this are what we call moving of information. So you may want to consider to digitalize those processes first. Okay, digitalize processes that require approval from superior. Digitalize processes that require approval from superior. Or you can consider this. Seeking approval from superior may be tedious and time consuming, okay, requiring to provide the necessary paperwork. Right? For example, if you want to do supply evaluation, then you need to get quotations. Then quotations have to be compiled. Then you have to bring it to your superior for evaluation, for approval. So these kind of processes you can consider to digitalize them. Okay, digitalizing these processes can help save time and also improve efficiency. So these are the things that you can consider, okay, when you want to move towards digitalization, when you want to evolve to digitalization. So if you'd like to know more about digitalizing your SOPs, we at Nexus, together with our partner Beyond Wave, have a solution which we call Nexus ERP Plus, powered by ERP Next. It is a all-in-one cloud ERP solution uniquely developed based on ISO 9001 quality management system requirements. Okay, so it is a combination of both ERP and ISO 9001 combined that can be customized based on your needs. Based on your needs, be it you want to cover all processes or to cover specific process like a production process or a manufacturing or a warehouse process or a purchasing process or a delivery process. Okay, it can be customized. Okay, so if you want to know more, do feel free to contact us to know more about this ERP Nexus ERP Plus. And with that, I would like to end my sharing for today. I hope it has been beneficial to you. Do feel free to ask any question that you may have in the chat box. We will then go to Q&A. But before that, right before Q&A, allow me to share with you our upcoming webinar next month. The topic will be ESG, okay, environmental, social, and governance. What SME should know and how to get started. So if you'd like to know more about you, or if you're interested in this current hot topic, okay, do feel free to scan the QR code to scan the QR code available on the screen to register and join us in the next webinar that will be happening on 17 August, and the speaker would be myself. So with that, all right, let's go to Q&A. Okay, we have Nicole at the in the background. Nicole, could you bring up the question? Shall we go to the Q&A session? Okay, sorry, I think I would need to stop sharing, and then all right, Nicole has already brought up the question, so sorry for my clumsiness. Okay. All right. So what will be the suitable format for establishing SOP? What will be the suitable format for establishing SOP? There is no fixed format. Okay, it depends on the suitability for your organization. Mm, you could consider things like a flowchart. Flowchart is simple. Flowchart puts in the steps, okay, one by one in flowchart. Step one, step two, step three. That's simple, easy to refer. If your organization is a more visual, okay, then you can establish SOPs using photos. That would be a good way, okay, to establish SOP as well. So there's no fixed format. Um, from Leven, okay, how frequent do we need to review the SOP? How frequent do we need to review the SOP? You would at least need to review a SOP once there are any change in your organization. Okay, for example, if there's a change in personnel, or if there's a change in resources, or if there's a change in the machine, okay, if there's a change in the methodology, then you will need to review your SOP. Okay, but if not, if there's no change, okay, throughout the year there's no change, at least do review your SOP once a year to determine that they are still adequate, still suitable, or still able to help you achieve the desired performance. So I hope that helps answer the question. And from City Zoha, actually, who is responsible to build up the SOP? Who is responsible to build up the SOP? I would say the process owner. The process owner will be the one responsible to build up the SOP. So if it's the production process, okay, so who would be the process owner? Okay, it would be the production manager. If it's a delivery, who would be the process owner? It would be probably the delivery manager. Okay, but as I was sharing just now, okay, when you establish or you build up the SOP, do seek the workers' input. So the process owner may be looking at the bigger picture. Okay, but however, as if you zoom in, if you seek the workers' input, okay, workers may be able to give you the detail, okay, a more refined view of the process. So person responsible, the answer will be process owner. But then as you build up, do seek the workers' input as well. Do seek the workers' input. I hope that answered your question, Siti Zoha. Do we have more questions? If you let me just check. Okay, at the moment there's no further question. If you have any other question, feel free to type into the chat box. Okay, I will be answering them right now. So let's probably give a few more seconds if there's any question that may be coming in. So if you have any question, do feel free to type into the chat box. So I guess there's no other question. So I thank you very much. In that case, thank you very much for attending our webinar today. If you do have further questions after we end our session, do feel free to contact us. I believe in a very short while you will be able to see our contact up on the screen. So thank you very much, everyone. Thank you for joining us, and see you in the next round. Thank you very much. Bye bye. Have a good day. Bye.